Yo, 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 what's going on? It's Terrell, Hall of Fame, D-Line, TBKC, and all that sweet, beautiful, wonderful shit. And I'm happy I get to go back to the gym today. Get the little bit of fat I put on off of me. But this is what I want to say. There's a misconception throughout a lot of dog communities, and I'm going to tell you about this Merle thing from an up close perspective. First of all, I oftentimes see people jump on posts. I've had a few people who jump on posts that I'm on, and I just don't feel like debating with them. It's a lot more complicated than you just not breeding Merle to Merle. First and foremost, I'm going to make some sense to you guys. If you have a litter of puppies and half of the litter of puppies are Merle, the other half of the puppies are not Merle. The puppies that are not Merle still carry the gene. I don't know who told you guys that it's just, oh no, you can't just do a double Merle. Those puppies that don't have the Merle showing through the phenotype still have the gene, although it would be more recessive than dominant. So the idea of breeding to dogs just based off of their color and not taking their genetics into consideration is a big mistake. Second of all, there are some traps that you should know about. The Pball gene. The Pball gene has the ability to react like the Merle gene does if bred to a Merle, which causes some of the same defects. So does the Tri. You have to be careful with this. We have to get to a point in our community where we understand that we cannot make everything generic. Oh, if it's not a Merle, then we're not going to double. No, it's a lot more complicated than that. If there are line bred Merle dogs throughout your genetics, and you just happen to have a puppy that is not showing the Merle genes, that's still a Merle dog. It is still genetically profiled to have the Merle gene there, and it can cause the same or similar issues as breeding to another Merle. Now, is it a fact that the original upfront rule when it comes to Merle dogs in general is always, of course, don't breed Merle to Merle. But you need to do more studying, and you need to figure this out better, because I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to give you a heads up. Merle to Pball is not as good as you think. Merle to Tri dogs is not as good as you think. These are triggers that can cause more issues. Now, amongst the issues, we've talked about this, that you can have the deafness, the blindness, the skin diseases, the seizures, and a plethora of other diseases, and you can have mutations. One of the things with the American Bully that's scary is that what has been found out about the Merle trait and characteristic throughout the years is that it comes in many different fashions, okay? And it reacts differently in different breeds depending on how it's been bred. There's different characteristics and different triggers, that things that happen inside the Alapahas that doesn't happen in some of the shepherds that have it. I say all this to say, for those who are messing with the Merle slash blot gene, blotch or whatever the hell name they made up for it, be very, very careful and be receptive that your main goal is to stay away from it as much as possible, even though you like it, to watch it and to see how it goes, not to push the lines in the extremes, because the Merle gene that we have today inside the American Bully community is not exactly the same type of Merle genetics that you have in every other breed. The Merle gene itself has been around. It's estimated that this gene it comes in from the earliest canines that are known to man, that gene was actually there, even though it didn't present itself. It is also known that this gene is very highly unlikely to just develop in a breed. But when it is mixed into other breeds, there are other profiles and other things that have to be taken into consideration. Considering that this is more of a new thing where people have mixed in whatever they're mixing in to get these blotch slash Merle dogs, we have to be very receptive to the fact that we might see some differences in the way that these genetics react with our dogs. Um, the smartest way is going to be that generic way to definitely not do Merle to Merle, but also follow your genetics. And I would say break it down to the point to where you want to breed your Merle to a dog that you haven't seen a Merle in his genetics for 3 generations. If you see it going back to at the very, let me just say, at the very least, because I know y'all don't have the discipline, don't breed your Merle dog to dogs that have Merle parents right now. In other breeds, they say do that. I would shoot to Merle, maybe grandparents. That breaks the percentage down to that dog having 25%, 12.5% opportunity in your dog. It makes it a lot more easy to control and see where it goes from there. Another thing in this community that I would do is I would start to keep charts on the levels of eye issues, because this does cause blindness, the hearing issues, the skin issues, and definitely the seizures. And the seizures has been something that has had a huge uptake. I would definitely avoid breeding your Merle dogs to Pball dogs. Trust me when I tell you, some of you have already learned a lesson. You jumped in my inbox. Some of you are going to learn this lesson. The Pball can be tricky with Merles, and you can get some of the same issues. The same thing with the tries. You want to navigate this through this thing as if it's just a total experiment, and take notes and see where it's falling at in line. And I say this because I'm sure someone's going to want to argue with me, but there are already a lot of cases on file to where we're seeing major issues to where it wasn't a breeding that was immediate Merle to immediate Merle. We have to figure out where this is coming from as we strive to make our breed better. Let's not let the pride, and I don't, once again, I do not advocate the Merle. It shouldn't be in the breed, but for those of you that are breeding Merle dogs, be smart and do what it is that you need to do to make sure that those dogs are healthy. I always give health and I always give advice, no matter what the dog is, no matter what the breed is, because I want to see people have healthy dogs regardless of the politics and standards of this breed. Healthy dogs is our #1 goal. Be very, very careful. Like I say, stay away from the try to Merle and the Pball to Merle. Stay away from, I would even say, the Merle parents. Go to that next generation and try to keep it as diluted as possible and keep notes. This will be a 10-15 year process as we see how these genes are coming together. Another thing that I would like to warn you guys of is, like everything else in the American bully community, the market is going to be flooded with these dogs. And it's the scariest thing, and it's one of the things as to why it's a disqualification, and I'm going to get it out as far as the TBKC is concerned, because the way that people breeds it is much like Dax, it's much like some of the health issues that have come about. It's going to be bred at such a high level that in the next 10 years, pretty much 90% of all the American bullies will have that Merle gene in there, because the ABKC is doing nothing to stop it. It's a popular thing. People feel like that they can get paid very well from it and everything, so they're breeding them all across the board. This will be a great experiment, and I say great very loosely, but this will be an experiment to see exactly how bad this shit can get. I promise you guys, if you're not paying close attention, I've already seen it firsthand with some of the exotics and the French bulldogs. The seizures with the black and silver ones are kicking in full effect. I mean, bad seizures, and you're already seeing some deafness and some blindness. And these were dogs that were not Merle to Merle. So we're going to have to wonder how strong this gene is going to get, what mutations it's going to take with the new genetics that it's introduced into. And if you guys are good breeders, you'll pay close attention to this and try to make sure that you're not doing anything that's going to be destructive to your dogs or future breeding programs. But until next time, you guys, much love. God bless you. Peace.